Hey guys, what is going on? Kevin Cage back with another cryptocurrency video with Ripple XRP. So let's get right into the information today. So shared by Cryptomaniac 101. I have gone over this clip before because this is huge, but let's just kind of briefly go over this again. So we got the clearinghouse and ABA payments are working with Ripple. We already know that. We've already seen Ripple, the private company, in documents. They're testing, to improve the payment speed in electronic payments. We already understand that. But this is huge because they're asking about when they're implementing the system. This gentleman is talking about everything, and he even says early Q3, we want to light up all the corridors simultaneously. And he's talking about, certain groups, and he calls this process mass enabling or mass enablement, and actually just, flipping the switch, so to speak. So these guys, we're talking about, the clearinghouse, the DTCC. These guys were the Fed, the Federal Reserve, before the Fed even existed, all the way back in 1913. They clear and settle, and he says this in this video clip, they clear and settle about $2 trillion a day right now. They're owned by 24 of the largest banks in the country. They service every bank that wants to use their service, have about 500 banks on their payment rails today. The payment rails, and he's complaining about this now. He knows this is a pain point. He says the payment rails are roughly 40 years old. This is, they were established pre-digital, pre-internet era. And he complains and he says, frankly, it's embarrassing that he can order online and on Amazon and receive a package and it'll come to his doorstep before they can even perform a modern day payment. And obviously we have a bunch of fintechs and, they're attacking these issues. But his biggest complaint right now is, on the consumer side, we think that we have instant payments, but we do not on the settlement aspect. All right. There's things going through the ACH. There's different aspects. And on the settlement aspect, there are still liquidity issues. There's still roughly, 3 to 5 days. In this video, he says a 4-day delay before the payments are settled. And he wants to solve this settlement aspect. And they are implementing the new system by early Q3. Again, they're, wanting to implement everything, so to speak, light up all the corridors simultaneously. And he's calling this process again, mass enablement or mass enabling. This is very exciting. And I'd really, really be curious to what this would be, considered. I thought this was funny really quick. So I know we always say XRP, the standard. This guy, Ticket to the Moon, says plot twist, XLM, the standard. Just talking about Stellar. So I just thought it was hilarious. And actually, this will actually go into my next talking point right here. So shared by Mike Hanna. So thank you for checking this out. So this guy, Pavel Matveev, he is the CEO at WireX, and we already are familiar with that company, and we are wondering why he just had that talking point, that video recently, and he literally says that XRP, well, I believe he may have called it Ripple, just to disrespect it even further. I'll have to check it out, but let's just say he said XRP, and he goes, and it's clear to me that XRP is a security, or a security token, and obviously just trying to discredit everything that Ripple's doing, and everybody's attacking him. People are boycotting and, undownloading and deleting their WireX application off their phones now to protest this, because this was very rude. He just took a shot at Ripple out of nowhere. We weren't even talking about Ripple and XRP, and we question why he's doing that. And again, guys, at the end of the day, people are people. We all have our own motives. You, me, and this gentleman, and he's the CEO. And look, I'm excited about the combination of IBM, Stellar, WireX. So he's already a Stellar holder. He's probably uptight and close with the whole Stellar organization. Jeb McCaleb, all these guys. So I just wanted to show you that because that makes sense. All right. And obviously it's very obvious to everyone at Ripple and even the not only all the lobbyists, but all of the other partners they have, that XRP is not a security token. And I guarantee XRP, I'm saying this, not financial advice, do your own research, I guarantee XRP will never be classified as a security. It will create its own asset. It'll, be called a digital asset. There's going to be new vernacular, new terminology that's created for this because there are already plans for this asset. All right, shared by I Am Legion as always. Great guy in the XRP community. Definite follow. Lian Lian International joins RippleNet to provide faster payments into China. And so we already know that they're a part of RippleNet. And I want to go back to this older article in 2018. China's fourth largest payment processor, Lian Lian, joins Ripple. But now let's look further with this. And what does this mean since Ripple and Lian Lian are already partners? So we can see here, in addition to working with CUP, Apple Pay will be connected to Lian Lian, PayEase, and YePay services in mainland China. Remember that previous video I did? There was that conspiracy about Apple Pay, there was Google, Amazon, all these big companies connected, and they were saying that the GPI is already connected. It really does make you wonder, because this makes sense. And I know there's some weird riddlers out there that are pretty vague, but we're connecting the dots with what we have. And again, some of them may be scams, so never, just buy an investment because you think they could be right and it could be get rich quick. Just don't. But I want to connect the dots now, put this information out there, and if it turns out to be right, wow. All right. We got lianlianpay.com. You can check this out, obviously, with cross-border payments, so very interesting. All right. So Lian Lian Pay, secure payment and money transfer service for merchants and consumers around the world. So pretty interesting to see that. And next up, this is a very, very cool tweet. This is older. This is back in April by the one and only XRP Neo at XRP_Anderson. But I want to go over this because this is crucial for all you newcomers. This is great information. So please, please stick around. I'm going to read this. Ready? Today I felt like I was red-pilled. I feel like we're seeing a genius plan being unfolded in front of our eyes by Ripple, the private company. I thought about Codius, which is their smart contracts platform, and how it could be used on top of XRP to compete with the platform coins, their competition, supposedly. I realized that the issue the platform coins today will have relates to liquidity and scalability to a large extent. Now, what did Ripple do? They focused on XRP as a bridge asset in the most liquid market, the FX market, the foreign exchange market. Now, this is my belief. This is all speculation, but let's just listen. I believe that there will only be one winner in the bridge asset race in the end. I've touched upon this many times. The reason being, liquidity will go to the asset that is already most liquid automatically on assets with same tech. If one asset becomes the standard, there's a reason for the XRP, the hashtag XRP, the standard, used as a tag. Then the asset will have huge amounts of liquidity compared to any other asset in this space. This is a very critical point, in my opinion. This will make sure that no other asset will likely never be as liquid as XRP or near as liquid. Other coins will not be able to enter the foreign exchange market. And it does make it harder. It does increase that barrier to entry. So now XRP has been pushed as a bridge asset from the very beginning by Ripple. Exactly. They aim to be that bridge asset. They even say the world reserve currency in older articles dating back years ago on their website. So Brad talks about this a lot about the peanut butter manifesto. Do one thing really, really well. Focus on that. And he completely agrees. So now the genius with Ripple is that their push on being agnostic, which means in terms we have carrier agnostic, we have coin or project agnostic. It means it can be used by anything. So the ILP, the interledger protocol, to connect all ledgers. So you can transfer all sorts of value by whichever asset you like. The ILP, it can send whether it's gold, tokenized assets, securities. It can send Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP. It doesn't matter. It's agnostic. It does not matter what means you use of transferring value. It can even be fiat. Now, it's clear they see XRP to be the asset, that singular asset on the ILP to transfer all of those types of assets. All right. It is the bridge that connects these ecosystems. Now, even if you can choose whatever asset, you will use the fastest and most liquid asset, XRP, being positioned for that job. And don't even get me started on proof of consensus. It's far superior. It's far more scalable. And there are not any error rates. You're not going to worry about double spending on the ledger. It's just completely secure. It's highly superior, and it's a beast. So the agnostic nature of ILP, interledger protocol, makes everyone wanting to adopt it. The infrastructure for the new financial system. Brilliant. All right, now we're going to talk about Codius, which is their smart contract platform. So ILP is agnostic. You can use anything. Codius is agnostic as well. You can use it on XRP, Bitcoin, or whatever asset you like. It's assumed that XRP will be the asset used if XRP is the fastest and most liquid. Makes sense. Now, they focus on bridge asset dominance first. That's what they're working on. They're working on capturing that market. They have all of these corridors, little by little. All of us investors, we don't realize that you're complaining and looking for quick gains, and you're looking at the price. That is not what we look at as an investor. You look at the fundamentals. All right, you get into a market before that perception is there. You go in that market when there is risk, when you see the upside potential and you risk it. All right, that is why now is the best time. This is a brand new market. You're complaining about not getting into Bitcoin in 2012. This is that very moment. When XRP, I wholeheartedly believe we'll see an XRP worth hundreds of dollars, if not thousands. And I know that sounds unbelievable. You can leave a rude comment. You can dislike this video. That's fine. Unsubscribe, because this upside is huge. And I will still be making videos even if this bear market continues. We're well over a year and a half now, and I am still going. Because I see these partnerships and developments happening, and they're going to be shaking as many retailer investors out as possible. So let's continue. XRP will be super liquid and fast. Now you can put Codius on it, the smart contract platform, and compete with the other platform coins. So like, let's say Ethereum, for example. Now the genius with Ripple is that in order to have a platform coin, they could make the smart contract capabilities separate, since they could make XRP that it runs on. Exactly. So now we have super liquid by positioning itself as a bridge asset. But the other platform coins don't have any plan to become super liquid like XRP, which means they will most likely never be able to have close to the liquidity of XRP. Brilliant. Now from a developer's perspective, and this is even more of the reason, you can then build dApps, decentralized applications on top of XRP, the digital asset, on far the most liquid coin token. Also fastest, or at least close to, with virtually an infinite level of scalability. On programmer languages you already know, which is great as well. If you have a good business idea, Ripple can fund you then via the Spring Initiative. That's a good offer. I feel like it might be hard for the other platform coins to compete in the long run. Right now, short run, we're in a speculative market, a spec market. Anything can happen. We can see up, downs. Perhaps other projects will even outperform XRP for now. I don't care. I'm looking long term. So now Spring is a brilliant way to expand the use cases for XRP, because the incentives from the developer's viewpoint is so large to be gifted XRP. I feel that Coil, and that's the web monetization aspect of micropayments, is such a perfect use case of XRP, because I can see micropayments being a huge part of daily life. The former CTO of Ripple, Stephen Thomas, he left Ripple to start Coil, and I'm sure they discussed micropayments as a huge thing in the near future, and this will also build massive utility, massive liquidity in the XRP ecosystem. And it's arguable, I've said this time and time again, they said that the world of micropayments can hypothetically be even larger than the entire remittance market that XRP with XRapid is trying to solve. I am stoked. All right, so right here, I'm seeing that this huge ecosystem for XRP being built, and I think a huge part of that strategy is to lock down all the liquidity as a bridge asset first from the foreign exchange market, the FX market, then being able to build dApps, decentralized applications, on top of all of that liquidity with Codius, the smart contract platform. Just brilliant. This is just a complete war game. It's an obvious takeover. I don't see any other projects doing this. And now he goes on to say, I just wonder how well other projects will be able to compete. I don't think they'll be able to compete whatsoever. It might in the long run become a huge dominance for XRP in the market. They seem to be doing everything right. Liquidity is hugely important, so you lock that down first, then expand. Walk, crawl, run. These guys are genius. Now, I'm bullish on a lot of other projects, and sure, they can see phenomenal gains. They are incredibly undervalued, but we are waiting for utility that is still risking and gambling at the end of the day. There are some altcoins that have my attention, but please don't invest just because I'm naming a few. But, that have my attention. I keep my eye on ADA, Cardano. I keep my eye on VeChain, VET. But there's still a lot of risk in these ecosystems. Even Quant, QNT. I know a lot of people like PundiX, Holo. There's nothing wrong necessarily with all of these projects, but they all have their pros and cons, and there's still a lot of risk. And it's fine to diversify, but if you're asking me, I am primarily in XRP. If those other projects skyrocket and XRP is still the same, great. I'll use those profits and put some into XRP as well. But to each their own, so please write a plan and stick with it, because anything can happen in this market. But seriously, XRP Neo, you absolutely do a great job with all these tweets. Your Twitter presence is awesome. And I believe his new blog is neospeculate.com. Please check it out, guys. last thing we're going to finish off here, Crypto Maniac again. Ripple, the Swell event in 2019, November 7th to the 8th. XRP, this time it's different. And so what does he mean by that? Well, Swell by Ripple is a big event that's annually, and this year it's going to be in Singapore. As we can see here, the must-attend event in global payments. And we have top-notch players in this ecosystem. We have, bankers, we have payment processors, we have these guys that come here, and all kinds of engineers, developers that are coming to listen to how this world of payments functions and how we need to replace the legacy systems. So let's check this out. On Thursday, global payments that finally work. I'm curious what they're going to be discussing. Well, actually, I already know. And then next, liquidity is different now. And that's exactly what he meant. It's different now. And what do I mean by that? Well, look how much more we've built. The barrier to entry is easier. XRP is on more exchanges. We have more fiat pairing everywhere. And we actually have XRapid live now. And again, now that we have it live, we're sending smaller payments, as we've already gone over on that graph that Galgatron created. We're going to start sending larger volume payments and scale it up and grow. We had to build those payment rails. And I'm just very excited to see what's to come. If, this so-called flip the switch is accurate, I think we are all going to be very, very surprised. So again, guys, hit that like button. Let's see if we can hit at least 500 likes on this video. Share it around. Continue to subscribe if you haven't already regarding all things XRP and Ripple. I'll be covering other projects as this crypto space matures, but you already know why I'm so bullish on XRP, and that's why I continue to cover it. I'm not worried about short-term perspective, your myopic viewpoints. You're, looking short-term and saying, oh, the price isn't moving. It's going up and down by 5%, and it's always staying at 30 cents, 40 cents. Guys, look long-term. This is investing. If you don't like the space and it annoys you, sell, because that means you're overinvested and the emotions are getting in the way. That's my advice. All right, guys. I will see you in the next one. Thanks so much.